Islam. For example, homosexuality. So Ilhan Omar has come on the record supporting in all vigor LGBTQ. Now, what I'm saying is this: as individuals, we say let bygones be bygones. We're not here to force our religion on people from the LGBTQ community, or we're trying to enforce a worldview on them. In many ways, we actually can and do accept them for what they are.
What? You accept them for who they are. So you as a Muslim accept a homosexual to be who he is. As a Muslim, you accept this.
People of the LGBTQ community, we accept you for who you are. We don't actually have a problem with you being wherever you are.
You don't have a problem with LGBTIQ for being who they are. You don't have a problem with this. And Mohammed Hijab has a problem with Yasir Qadhi. Mohammed Hijab has a problem with Yasir Qadhi for not silencing Linda Salsala, right? And here is Mohammed Hijab saying he doesn't have a problem with the LGBTIQ.
And living your lives in such a way that wouldn't affect us, yani, unless you come and try and force it upon us.
So unless they're trying to force it upon us, that's when he'll object. So Mohammed Hijabi doesn't have a problem with a homosexual living his homosexual life, unless of course they try and force it on you. Is this what Islam teaches? Does Islam just say we accept the evil so long as the evil doesn't affect us? Does it say we can live amongst the evil so long as they don't try and force it on us? Them presenting LGBTI, them doing gay right marches, that's affecting us. That's advertising their kufr and their evil. So what's Mohammed Hijab saying? That he doesn't have a problem with gay Mardi Gras and gay marches as well? In Islam, we're supposed to stop the evil with your heart. That is the least of Iman. You're supposed to stop the evil with force. You're supposed to stop the evil with your mouth. That's the second degree. The third one is with your heart. If you can't do the other two, the least you can do is hate it. But Hijabi says he doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem unless they come and force it on him. He doesn't have a problem with them living their lives as being LGBTIQ. Wallahi, these are the Muslim da'is. These are the guys who are apparently doing dawah in our name, in our religion. They're doing dawah for us.
Come and try and force it upon us. But in likewise format, we expect you to have the same attitude towards us. Yes, we will call you to Islam, and yes, Islam is a religion which explicitly goes against these practices. It's haram.
So if it goes against these practices and if it's haram, why do you say you don't have a problem with it? Islam is saying Islam has a problem with LGBTIQ. But you're saying you don't have a problem with them and they can live their lives the way they want to and they can be whoever they want to be. You know, it's an oxymoron. Like, Muhammad Hijab is supposed to represent Islam. Would the Prophet Muhammad say that he doesn't have a problem with how they live their lives? Did Lut alayhi salam say he doesn't have a problem with his people, with the way they live their lives? Of course he had a problem. Of course he had a problem with them. He hated what they did. And that's why Allah sent his wrath upon those people. How can you turn around and say you don't have a problem with them? How? This is shocking. And what is so sickening, and I'm telling you, I'm presenting this video so this brother can correct himself. Wallahi, I'm not out there to lynch at him. I want him to look at this video and correct himself. What is even more hypocritical, and this is what is so bizarre and disgusting, is that he goes after Yasir Qadhi for not taking a strong stance against silencing Linda Salsoa for her stance in supporting homosexuality. Have a listen.
Criticism. So this is a weak approach. And this weakness was exhibited for all to see in the following clip, which I found was, wallahi, when I first saw it, I was very upset and angered on behalf of Sheikh Yasir Qadhi. Let's watch the clip together.
Do you see how that's problematic for a lot of people listening who'll say, you say they're welcome in your mosque, but they're welcome as sinners, and that makes people not feel very welcome?
It's not our job to judge others. I'm willing to allow them their rights. Are they willing to allow me my rights?
When you say you're willing to allow them their rights,
their political rights.
You support same-sex marriage?
I support the notion that the American government is not in charge of morality. Okay,
so you're not opposed to same-sex marriage?
Politically, yes, but morally, I don't agree with this. So there's a distinction.
But as a law of the land, you're not campaigning to change the law?
Of course not. No.
Do you think that, wallahi, this is fair, that a member of the so-called scholarly classes, the high echelons of Islamic intellectuality, is put in front of an individual, actually two of them, but let's focus on Linda Salsoa, an individual who is flirting with clandestine apostasy, and that she's putting you on the back foot? Wallahi, it breaks my heart to see that. She's putting you on the back foot, and she's mentioning things which have in them the potential for ridda, apostasy, and they're going unchallenged. This is an individual who's wearing a headscarf. She's in front of a man of deen, religion, and she's saying, basically, to paraphrase, that she thinks the cause of homosexuality is the same Islamic cause.
Put that to Linda. You're an American Muslim civil rights activist. You campaign against Islamophobia and in favour of Muslim civil rights, but you also campaign against homophobia and in favour of LGBT rights. Do you see that as all part of the same struggle?
Absolutely, and I will say this about American Muslims. There has not been any coordinated campaign oppositional to the Supreme Court decision for same-sex marriage.
And you're not correcting that. In fact, you're just talking about your own track record and defending yourself, not even Islam, but quite frankly, yourself.
Well, let me put that point to Yasir Qadhi.
Well, that's exactly what I've been doing, Linda. If you actually listen to the lectures that are on YouTube, I would say I'm one of the very few clerics that have very publicly said.
Do you think this is going to give Islam and Muslims izzah? Wallahi, uqsmu billah al-azim, it is not. It is a failed approach, and it's not an approach that is going to yield any positive effects. And it's likely to mark all of the good work you've done elsewhere. And I see that as a real tragedy, in fact, and it hurts me to say it. It hurts me to say it, but I'm angered and disappointed. And I never saw this video before. I only saw this quite recently. When I saw it, I was very disappointed, wallahi. To see a woman like that, a woman like that, put you on the back foot, Yasir Qadhi, in that way. And you couldn't even ask her a couple of questions that would have put her directly on the back foot. Do you consider homosexuality as a sin? It would have, if she said yes, then it would, so how do you, and then you can follow up. If she said no, then you can excommunicate her. You can excommunicate her from the fold of Islam after you do Iqamat al-Hujjah. And then you put her on the back foot again. You strip her of the fake identity that then she would be putting upon herself. This is the izzah we require. This is the izzah we require. This is the clear-cut, straight-talking, qulu qawlan sadidan that we need. It's not fair that the Muslims have this level of representation, quite frankly, on issues so topical as these, and then confusion is put in the atmosphere. So I've given you three. Or we're trying to enforce a worldview on them. In many ways, we actually can and do accept them for what they are. People of the LGBTQ community, we accept you for who you are. We don't actually have a problem with you being wherever you are and living your lives in such a way that wouldn't affect us, unless you come and try and force it upon us. But in likewise format, we expect you to have the same attitude towards us. You strip her of the fake identity that then she would be putting upon herself. This is the izzah we require. This is the clear-cut, straight-talking, qulu qawlan sadidan that we need. It's not fair that the Muslims have this level of representation, quite frankly, on issues so topical as these, and then confusion is put in the atmosphere. So I've given you